I went from working a retail job to being a full-time artist. Now at first, I was afraid to quit my job. I was waiting until I was good enough, waiting until I had enough money saved, waiting for some magical moment that would never come. Until I learned these 3 lessons that I will share with you. I had to be at my job at 10 a.m. in the morning, and so I got up at 4 so that I could work on my own dream for 6 hours before going to the job. Now going to bed at 8 p.m. basically meant that the only social life that I could get were single mom sunrise yoga sessions. Sometimes I found myself working out in complete darkness at 4 a.m. in the morning after drinking 2 cups of coffee. I remember I liked to grind a lot until I realized that the only thing that I was grinding was Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee beans. So it didn't take long before I felt like a Renaissance slave for the upper class, working my ass off for nothing. I didn't got any recognition from society. I was living in poverty, making minimum wage, and I felt like I was wasting the best years of my life. The years where I should be learning everything. I was not doing any of that. And so the question becomes, what do you do if you want to quit your job, but you don't have a better one lined up, you don't have money saved up, and you don't know what you're doing? Well, in my case, I knew that I wanted to be a full-time artist. And in that scenario, you basically have 2 options. You either figure out how to make money so that you can live to be an artist regardless of sales, or you cut down on expenses to that extent that you can quit your job and chase your dreams. I chose the second option, to cut down on everything, which wasn't easy considering I already moved back in with my mom 6 months earlier, which was embarrassing considering that I was already in my 20s. And so this literally meant that I would cut down on everything else. I never went out, ate out, never went on vacation, didn't buy a car, didn't buy gas, didn't drove in general, didn't buy any clothes. My shoes had holes in them, all of them. All my sweaters had holes in them, which wasn't really a problem because I never went outside anyway, and so you get the point. It was devastating. But there was one positive side to it all, and that was that the only expense I had was basically food. And if you bulk up on rice, vegetables and peanut butter, it's surprising how cheap you can live in a Western country. I was eating 200 grams of peanut butter a day. That's 56 grams of protein, 1,100 calories for a little over $1 at that time. Peanut butter proved to be so versatile, I even used it as a substitute for deodorant. Needless to say, I didn't get laid. I was trying my best though. I was trying to go for a masculine, nutty aroma. But now I realize I just smelled like sandwich. Anyway, those were very interesting times. I was watching YouTube videos on entrepreneurship all of the time. I was reading self-help books all of the time. And if they were saying to start a meditation practice, I would immediately start a meditation practice. If they were saying start working out, I would be working out the same day. If they were saying read books, I would be reading books. And this was a beautiful time in my life because for the first time, I knew that I didn't know anything. I knew that I was a complete loser. Before that time, I thought that I knew things. And so somebody would say to me, well, why don't you start working out? That will help you a lot. And so I would then come up in my head with reasons why that is a stupid idea and reasons to believe that the current strategies that I was having were way better and would lead towards more success. But this failure that I was experiencing proved that all of my strategies sucked and that I was a complete utmost loser. And so this was very powerful because now I could start believing those things in books. Now I was suddenly a tabula rasa white sheet and I could just absorb all sorts of strategies from other people that have proven to work. And this is exactly what I needed. Something or someone needed to show me that my strategies sucked and that I needed to copy paste strategies from other people. Now, why am I sharing all of this? Why am I making this video? Well, there are 3 lessons I learned that will help you pursue your dreams that I want to share with you. The first lesson is that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. A lot of artists at the age of 24 or even worse, 19, think that it's worthless, that they're already too late, that they might as well just give up because they're already 19 years old, and this is absolute bullshit. I started again for the second time in my 20s, and this is absolutely normal. Paul Cézanne quit his job as a stockbroker in his mid-30s to pursue a career in the arts full-time. Wassily Kandinsky started painting at the age of 30. Lesson number 2. Waiting until you are ready is like waiting for a moment that will never come. The reality is that you can always improve something to make the transition safe for you. You can always become a little bit better, save a little bit more money, do a little bit more of this. And as you could see in this video, I was absolutely not ready. I didn't have money saved up. I didn't have collectors connections or anything of that nature. And I basically was in the worst position I could find myself in. And I jumped in anyway. At some point, you just have to take that leap of faith, because the danger is that if you don't, before you know it, you blink and you're 45 years old, still waiting in the same spot you started waiting when you were 25. Lesson number 3. A lot of people want to quit their job, but they have bills to pay. And although this might be true in some cases, like when you have children or a wife that you're responsible for, in most cases, this is completely made up. Most bills are bills that you chose yourself. The reality is that you don't need to smoke or drink alcohol. That's a bill that you chose yourself. You don't need to pay for Netflix, which is, by the way, paying for a service that is helping you postpone on your dreams. You don't need to go out, and you don't need a 3-bedroom apartment if you are single. 80% of your expenses are your personal choice. And in many cases, those personal choices are designed so that you can be more comfortable not chasing your dreams. If you are a 31-year-old single guy, you don't have a lot of bills to pay. You chose to have a lot of bills to pay. Now, am I saying that quitting your job, cutting your expenses, or pursuing your dreams is easy? Of course not. But we don't choose to pursue our dreams because it's easy. We choose to pursue our dreams because it's hard. I talk more about that in another How I Became a Full-Time Artist. I'll link it in the description and in the end screen. That said, get the hell out of here.